I would like you to meet Ares, the ultimate soldier. He's biblically strong, lightning fast, supremely intelligent. And if he is struck down on the battlefield, I will simply make you another.
Well, that was a clip from Tron. Ares joining us now to talk more about that film and a whole bunch more. Film critic Richard Crouse. Richard, good morning.
Morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Let's get into this, shall we? It's interesting. I get a little nervous as we talk about the third installment of a series, especially maybe for something like Tron. This is the sequel to Tron Legacy. Did it live up to the other ones? Not really. What do we think?
Well, the last one was 15 years ago, so you may have to refresh your memory by looking it up on DVD or on finding it on streaming. This one is beautiful looking. This is the story of two warring CEOs. They both run tech companies. One wants to create these AI soldiers that will be indestructible on the battlefield. The other is more idealistic, so that puts them at odds. When the idealistic one is trying to keep something called the permanence code away from the evil CEO. That is a code that would make their soldiers last forever. It leads to almost all-out war until one of the AI soldiers, played by Jared Leto, decides that he wants to become Pinocchio and become a real boy. So it's a fairly simple story of good versus evil, but it's started up with a lot of high-tech jargon, but mostly the characters and the situations and the dialogue are just a setup to really cool-looking action sequences that allow these AI characters to ride around the city in these really cool light cycles that they have, and have these crazy action sequences. So I gave the movie 2.5 stars for the story, which is pretty simple and not that interesting, but 3.5 stars for the eye candy. It looks fantastic, and the soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails is a whole lot of fun. So that's Tron Ares, and it's in theaters right now.
Yeah, I love that. It's, again, just visually stunning just to kind of look at some of the pictures. So next up, an interesting one, Roofman. It stars Channing Tatum as the real-life robber, Jeffrey Manchester, who hid out in a toy store. Again, intriguing maybe, but what do we think?
Well, this is a movie that takes a lot of elements. So it's the story, true story, of Jeffrey Manchester, a guy who was an Army veteran, comes back to the U.S., and he's kind of cut adrift, can't find meaningful employment. His family is falling apart. So he decides that he's going to start breaking into McDonald's restaurants, entering from the roof, hence the name Roofman. And if he can do that 45 times and by his own estimation, that'll give him enough money to get his family back together, get his finances together, and all will be good. Trouble is, he gets arrested on his 45th robbery and goes to jail. When he misses his kids, he plans an elaborate escape and gets out and ends up living and hiding from the police and everyone else in a Toys R Us store. And then the story becomes a little bit more traditional. It becomes a story of a guy kind of looking for redemption and falling in love. Kirsten Dunst is in this as well. But this movie benefits greatly from Channing Tatum's innate likability. The story pieces are like little puzzle pieces that don't seem to quite fit together. It's a family drama. It's a crime drama. It's a bit of a rom-com romance. So there's a little bit too much happening here, but Channing Tatum is the glue. So I gave Roofman, now playing in theaters, 2.5 stars out of 5.
Okay, lastly, we have John Candy, I Like Me. Now, this documentary about the Canadian actor, John Candy, clearly, it premiered at TIFF. It was the very first film that was screened. It was produced by Ryan Reynolds. Again, a lot of good reviews, but what did you think?
I liked this movie a lot, and I liked it for a number of reasons. I liked it for purely nostalgic reasons. It's really fun to see John Candy back in action. He passed away 30 years ago. So this is a look back at this incredible body of work that he's left behind. And some of these clips are almost 50 years old, and they're still funny when you see the Schmengi brothers from SCTV or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or clips from Splash or Uncle Buck or things from SCTV. I mean, this was an enormously talented man who left behind a legacy of laughs. This This movie, though, isn't just a clip tribute. It also dives into some heavier aspects of John Candy's life, talks about his anxiety. We see the way he was treated by the press, who constantly harped at him about his weight. So there's some darker elements to this. But by the time you get to the end credits, what you realize is, as Martin Short told the director, Colin Hanks, you won't be able to find anyone who has anything bad to say about John Candy. And the movie really reinforces that. It's called John Candy, I Like Me. It's on Prime Video right now, and I give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
Yeah, really need to watch that one. Can't believe it's been 3 decades since he's died. Richard Crouse, film critic. Thanks so much for this, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.